Professor Rahul, we can start now.
Thank you, sir. With your kind permission, I am starting the program. Very good afternoon to all. On behalf of the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, and coordinator of AICT Atal Faculty Development Program 2021, I welcome our chief guest, Professor Jagdish Kumar Patnaik, sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University. Our guest of honor and keynote speaker of the valedictory session, Professor S.C. Bagri, sir, retired professor, Center for Mountain Tourism and Hospitality Studies, HNB, Gorwal University, Uttarakhand. Respected peer reviewer from AICT, Dr. Swarup Sampath Rawal, Brain Behavior Research Foundation of India. Respected resource persons, invitees, my colleagues, and learned participants from different corners of the country. This is our valedictory session after successful completion of 5 days brainstorming by our respected eminent resource persons, and now we are in valedictory session of the program. We have changed little bit in our program due to an important MOU signing program by Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor sir from our university. In this program, now I will request to Dr. Rajesh to introduce our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor sir. Then we will request our Pro Vice Chancellor sir to deliver one speech on our program, and after that we will continue as per the schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon, distinguished dignitaries, guest resource person, peer reviewer, participants, and ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Rajesh Ramaswamy, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University. It gives me immense pleasure and great privilege to introduce our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor J.K. Patnaik. So Professor J.K. Patnaik is an eminent scholar and academician in the field of political science and international relations. He brings into the university's 4 decades of teaching and research experience in the field of higher education, in progressive academic leadership, and rich administrative experience. So our professor is having more than 20 years of professorship experience at Mizoram University. Professor is also serving as an expert member on various high-level committees of Indian higher education system, such as Ministry of Education, formerly known as Ministry of Human Resources Development, UGC, National Assessment Accreditation Council, and so on. He also acted as selection committee member, academic council member, executive council member, and board of studies member at various universities and other professional bodies. Professor has published more than 40 scientific research papers in various national and international reputed journals. He has authored 6 books to his credit. He has guided 13 PhD scholars and 12 MPhil research scholars. He is a renowned visiting faculty to various reputed state and national universities. Professor J.K. Patnaik holds PhD in International Relations from Queen's University, Kingston, Canada, MPhil, MA, and BA Honors in Political Science from Brahmpur University, Odisha. He is the recipient of various awards and fellowships, to name a few: Commonwealth Scholar Fellowship and Gold Medalist in Post-Graduation. He is an outstanding academic achiever himself. Professor J.K. Patnaik has been instrumental himself in cheering universities and institutions towards academic excellency. With these few words, I request our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor J.K. Patnaik, to deliver the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Professor Himanshu Raut, the convener of this function as well as this program. Professor S.C. Bagri, the distinguished speaker of this afternoon. Learned delegates. And I see my friend R.K. Mahanti also, Professor R.K. Mahanti, and other distinguished resource persons as well as participants. I feel it an honor to be the chief guest of this function. And I'm also happy that Professor Raut has been successful in completing the second this kind of program. And the theme of this program seems to be much more attractive for me, in the sense that this is most relevant and timely in theme, and that he has really chosen for the purpose of this workshop, or this whatever the program. I think it's a workshop, right? The FDP is a Field Development Program. Coming to straight to the theme, I've got so many things to speak, though. At the moment, I'm constrained by the time factor, because as Professor Raut has already spoken to you about my engagement. That is prior engagement. This was also prior engagement he did long back, though. He gave me the letter on the 27th September. I have saved this letter, and just I got it. Actually, at the time, I was thrilled that I would share some of my thoughts about this protection of Indian heritage, protection management of Indian heritage, because as a student of social science, or for that matter, political science, we are very much, part and parcel of this kind of activity. Though political scientists are considered to be, those who pursue the studies on institutions and governments. Actually, in the context of Indian civilization or Indian nation, these aspects are very important for us, for the students of political science. Why I am telling. When we look into, as I have been introduced as a student of international relations, this constitutes our soft power. In foreign policy, Indian civilizational aspects, they constitute the soft power. And the more we try to focus this soft power, because hard power is very difficult on the part of India to project, for the simple reason that ours is a developing country, and from the defense point of view, from the security point of view, we are very, very highly vulnerable in the subcontinent as well as outside. So when we look at that from that perspective, this theme seems to be very important and relevant, not only to the students of political science, but for the process of governance in the recent decades. Given the kind of scenario that we find at the moment in our neighborhood, we cannot, bank on this security dimension per se, in terms of, extracting the support or enlisting the support of the people. The civilizational linkage, the cultural identities, and the various religious elements, they do constitute our strength. And having said that, to what extent the government of India has been able to bank on this kind of strength, although there has been so much of discussion in the academia as well as in the foreign policy establishment regarding the importance of the soft power. And when you talk about soft power, obviously the important thing that would come to the mind is that how to project the soft power. And through tourism, if we encourage tourism, people from different parts of the world would definitely visit our country, because it's our country is having a history of 5,000 years. And this history is not a junk history. We are very proud people. And our strength is our culture. Our strength is our institutions, whether it is a religious institution or other institutions, even political institutions, the unsimple political institutions. And our the norms that we have, actually, most of us are being swayed by the Western institutions, Western belief systems, Western norms. But this civilizational norm, Indic civilizational norm, is more universal and has got more acceptability, although it's not overtly done by the Western nations. We find that there is an overt, covert recognition of the strength of India's identity, India's culture, India's heritage. Given this kind of scenario, there is an enormous role on in the part of those people who are responsible for protecting and managing of this Indian civilization and Indian culture and heritage for that matter. And this program, which I was told, has been a very successful program that Professor Raut has undertaken. And my congratulations to him, my kudos to him, because he is a very hardworking young man, and he works very hard, not only to just get the support of some 100 people to enlist as participants in this program, but he has also the reputation of being very polite and very courteous and cordial to everybody, not only to only Patnaik. He is a very nice gentleman, and who has been able to generate this Indic kind of thing, the Indian value system that he projects, so that he can protect he can protect the Indian culture and project the Indian culture. For that, I would rather say that he's really the right person who deserves the credit for this program. I don't want to speak more because offhand also I don't want to bore you. Whatever I'm speaking is offhand without having any preparation. Do not serve any purpose unless it is having some substance and some strength in it. But I really appreciate the fact that Professor Raut has been working very hard and in contributing to the well-being of the university. And the important thing, let me tell you, Professor Raut, by doing this, by having 101 or 104 participants across the globe, across the country, you are changing the perception of Mizoram University. You are changing the perception of Mizoram University in the sense that you have got all the resource persons from across the country, and this perception will be quite helpful for us in the ranking. And please keep doing this good work. Continue doing this good work, because it will give more of credit not only to you, not only to me or to anybody, but to the university as such. So I thank you all. I thank Professor Raut, Professor Mahanti, Professor Bagri, the honorable speaker of this function, and my colleagues, younger colleagues, Rajesh and others, Rajdeep and others. Thank you very much, and I congratulate all of you and wish you good luck in your future. Thank you very much. Kindly allow me to leave this program. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So now I will request Dr. Pankaj Kumar to coordinate the program.
Thank you, sir. I, Dr. Pankaj Kumar, on behalf of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, and in my own behalf, welcome you all in this 5 days faculty development program sponsored by AICTE Atal, New Delhi. The exhausted participants must be feeling relieved now. We completely understand how hectic this week was for you all. Attending lectures, the attendance issues, and then examination all are over now. So I can also see few happy faces. Moving forward, we have guest of honor and keynote speaker, Professor S.C. Bagri sir with us. He is an eminent professor of tourism and former Vice Chancellor, Himgiri Ji University. Before inviting Professor S.C. Bagri, I would like to call upon Dr. Rajdeep, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, to read out his profile, and welcome Professor S.C. Bagri for his keynote address. Over to you, Dr. Rajdeep.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pankaj. At the very outset, I wish all of you a very good afternoon. It is really a difficult job to describe a personality who is an institution in himself. I am delighted to have the opportunity to present the profile of our honorable guest of honor, Professor S.C. Bagri, an eminent academician and researcher. Professor Bagri started his career as lecturer at Department of Tourism, HNB Garhwal University, and served till 1995. Then Professor Bagri was elevated to the post of professor at Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, IITTM, Gwalior, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. In 1998, Sir moved back to HNB Garhwal University and subsequently held the responsibility of Dean, School of Management till July 2012. He started the publication of Journal of Tourism, which is a UGC listed journal, in 1996 in joint collaboration with University of Southern Mississippi, United States of America. Professor Bagri was the editor-in-chief of that particular journal. He obtained his master's degree from Allahabad University, Allahabad, and completed a technical course on cultural tourism management from Rome, Italy, under the fellowship of Government of Italy in 1986. Upon his thirst on culture, he decided to take up his doctoral thesis on Buddhist tourism. In 2007, recognizing the contribution of Professor Bagri, United Nations World Tourism Organization, Madrid, appointed him as a consultant for the project on human resource development in tourism and hospitality sector for Punjab and West Bengal states. Professor Bagri is the founder president of Indian Hospitality Congress. He has authored 7 books, 100 research papers, and guided 22 PhD research scholars in tourism and hospitality management. Prior to returning to Department of Mountain Tourism and Hospitality Studies, HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Garhwal, Uttarakhand, Professor Bagri also served as the Vice Chancellor of Himgiri Ji University, Dehradun, an institution set up by Mr. Subhas Chandra, Chairman of SL and Z Group, Mumbai. In view of his expertise in tourism and hospitality management, MHRD, which is also known as Ministry of Education now, Government of India, assigned him the responsibility of NRC in tourism and hospitality services management for developing online refresher program for the assistant professors in tourism and hospitality subject, which he successfully completed with the help of a team of 40 subject experts in May 2019. So with this brief introduction, I would once again welcome our distinguished guest of honor, Professor S.C. Bagri, to this online valedictory function. And without taking much time, I would request sir to deliver a speech of the guest of honor. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajdeep. The convener of this program, Dr. Himanshu, and other respected faculty members who are supporting Dr. Himanshu, and my colleagues who are attending this MDP program organized by Mizoram University. The first thing, I congratulate the Department of Tourism who took the responsibility of this program, because I know so many universities in the country, around 62 universities are running very good in the country, but very few universities have taken the initiative. As Professor Patnaik was just mentioning that Dr. Himanshu is very hard worker. If you are a hard worker, then you have taken up the responsibility. And because of this responsibility, 100 participants are getting benefit, and you are recognizing in the academic, world that, and because of you, that other faculty members of your department are also getting interaction with the rest of the faculty members of the country and researchers. So this is very good initiative. When I was at IITM, I was the first person who started the refresher course for UGC for 21 days. And because of that, I was very much, I became very much friendly with the other faculty members. This is very good initiative that the Mizoram University, despite of having its location in Far East, doing such a commendable job. And I think that the proceedings that you are going to release, I think very shortly, will be circulated to one and all, so that we can also see the rich contents, what the speakers that who spoke on this occasion, like Dr. Pareda from Bardwan, Dr. Jitendra from Amarkantak, Dr. Sampath from, you can say, from Pondicherry, and Dr. S.K. Gupta from my university, and some other distinguished speakers from anthropology and other fields were there. All these things, all these professors who are very renowned and they have done a very commendable job in their respective field. And whatever their contribution was made, I think that that would be very much useful for the heritage management and conservation and protection. Let us start something, because I think that why this Atal Yojana is named for this heritage management. Why should we go for heritage management? That's the question. Because the moment you land, you go to Europe, and suppose you get a transit visa in Paris, so they will ask you that you are free to go around the town to see the heritage of that town. And special provision they make for your sightseeing. Normally, when you land in London and New York and other cities, you are restricted to remain inside of the airport. They normally don't give you the transit visa to go around the town. But suppose you land in Paris and some other towns in Europe, there is a provision of sightseeing. Suppose your flight is delayed or some 6 hours, after 7 hours, you can go in the town and to see the museums. And then you can remember the days of the France, how it was progressing during the Roman Empire. And they saw their strength, that they did this commendable job when the people were not known how to write. And they made the splendid palaces. They made the Colosseums of Rome. They made the Leaning Tower, even in the middle period, but the ancient time, the Colosseum of Rome, Ponte Vecchio, Pitti Palace. You will be surprised to know that the Pompeii, famous for the volcano, was ruined, destroyed due to all of sudden of volcano. And how they preserved the dead bodies and how they conserved the walls and streets of Pompeii town is an exemplary work that is made by government of Italy near Naples. So this is called heritage conservation and preservation. When I was a young lecturer and I was invited by Ministry of Tourism along with the 30 to 35 vice chancellor from all over the country to participate in a workshop in Delhi to draw the guidelines for the academic purpose of IITTM. S.K. Misra ji was the secretary. He is still alive. He is 90 years old. Mr. Shivraj Patil was the cabinet minister of tourism. Mr. B.K. Goswami was the director general. The meeting was scheduled in India International Center, New Delhi. The resource speaker was Madam Kapila Vatsyayan. She was the secretary of Ministry of Culture. She was delivering a lecture on India's heritage. How in government of India is conserving the monuments, excavating sites, and showing the India's culture to the rest of the world. When her lecture was finished, I raised a question. I asked the madam to tell me why the all excavated sites, whether it is Ropar, whether it is, you can say, Brahmapur in Odisha, whether it is Nagarjun Konda, whether it is Sravasti, Vaishali, or many more sites were again filled by mud. And they only record antiquities. And after that, they filled it by mud. They fill it by mud. I said her, why this filling is going on in India, whereas in Western countries, they don't fill it by mud, they conserve it and made it presentable through their horticulture department, so that a common man can come and see the walls, streets, houses, many more things. She told me she has no answer. She could not give any answer. She said that it is better you discuss this issue during lunchtime. Now you see, in India, except Kalibanga, that is in Rajasthan district, Ganganagar, except Lothal, near Ahmedabad, except Nagarjun Konda, near Hyderabad, 5 kilometers south of Hyderabad, no excavated site is conserved. All excavated sites were filled by mud. Only few sites are there, and their remains have been displayed in museums, somewhere in site museums, somewhere in national museums. For example, the bones of Gautam Buddha, the remains of Gautam Buddha are kept in a casket and is kept in Indian Museum, Kolkata. You can go in Indian Museum, Kolkata. You ask anyone to show the Buddhist gallery. In that gallery, there is a casket. In that casket, the remains of Buddhas are kept. Whereas in Western countries, they keep all these things conserved. And if you go to Kapilvastu, although there is a controversy about the birthplace of Kapilvastu, some say that is in Nepal. We say that it is in district, in UP. But there is no such visible stupas that one can see, or one can feel the environment of bygone past. For example, if you go to the birthplace of Gautam Buddha, that is Lumbini, near district Siddharth Nagar, you will find only this is the lot of Ashoka that's finished. Remaining structure are constructed by Buddhist countries. However, in Sarnath, they have conserved something, but rest of the remains, they filled it mud. What I mean, so when you talk about the management, in management, it is your responsibility also to make the recommendations in the proceedings that all the excavated sites where we get antiquities should not be covered by mud. It should remain open, and should conservation be made, sightseeing should be made, some provisions should be made, so that vocal for local. On the one side, our Honorable Prime Minister says, vocal for local. Other side, our Prime Minister says, go to Northeast. Go to Northeast, see the culture of Northeast. And if you see other side, we cover the sites by mud. What to see? Secondly, I'm not talking about only that this is the only heritage. There is also nature heritage. There is a social heritage. Our ethics, our values, our customs, our rituals, our performances, our literature, our leaders, our honesty is also heritage. You go abroad, no one can offer you a cup of tea if you have no prior appointment. No one will offer you a cup of tea I went to Europe to attend a conference, and I got a free ticket from the conference organizer, everything systematic. And the professor of that university came to my house in India. I offered him lunch, dinner, everything. But when I went there, he said, "Hello, you are welcome." After that, he was busy in some other assignment. He never offered me even a cup of tea. And whereas he offered me free passage from here to there, made free accommodation, but it is not in his cultural heritage to offer a cup of tea to the guest once he arrives, and ask him to sit down and tell him about his whereabouts, his family, his travel, and then after that, he should offer me a cup of tea. It is India's heritage that teaches you how to respect a guest. I'm just telling you, see the story. One of my students is in Australia. It is happened just 2 hours back. He's in Australia. He's a state professor there. One of my relatives went to London day before yesterday. I said him book a room for him in London for 2 nights. He booked the ticket. He told me, "Sir, I need not to pay any amount. He's booking, and we will make the settlement once the journey is over." But when my relative went to London, the front office cashier told him that my relative has to pay. I told him that this is the situation. He told me, "Sir, this cannot be possible because you are my teacher. You taught me." He told me that I guided him for 4 years. He told me that I helped him in his placement. Why should I pay? He said that I need not to pay. He will take care of the expenses, whatever will be there. So this is called heritage. This is called heritage. The moment I meet you, the moment you touch my feet, the way I embraced you, the way I expressed my emotions, that is heritage. Have you seen anywhere in the world that the relation between teacher and student is so friendly like father and son? I will give another instance. I was doing, as Dr. Rajdeep was telling, I was in Italy for 1 year. Professor Tamponi was my teacher. Professor Tamponi used to take us every Sunday to sightseeing. Every Sunday to sightseeing. I was just 30 years old during that time. And myself, and with me, around 30 representatives were from South America, around 5 from Africa, 6 to 7 from Middle East, 5 to 6 from China, and rest of them from Indonesia and Malaysia. When Professor Tamponi was teaching us at the site of Pisa, showing so many maps and charts, how the Leaning Tower was made, on what angle it is tilting and when it will be collapsed down, and how it is useful for the tourism students. And because the students, I'm from tourism stream, but some of them from architecture, some of them from civil engineering, some of them from other disciplines. When the job was over, he was carrying with him around 20 maps. Everybody was smoking. "Hello, Tamponi, how are you?" The lecture is over. And they were joking with the Tamponi, and there is hardly any gap. Then I went to Professor Tamponi. I told him, "Sir, if you don't mind, can I share some of your maps with me?" He could not recognize me. He said that, "From which country I am?" I said, "I'm from India." He said, "That's why you are so much polite." He said that he salutes the Indian people. They have emotions. They show courtesy. Then I told him, "Sir, we give so much respect to teacher. If teacher says that stand up, we will stand up there for 24 hours. Question doesn't try to move away from the questions where he directed me to stand." So this is called heritage. This is our legacy. This is our traditions. This is our values. And the participants who are listening my deliberations, they must keep in their mind that never to expect anything from anyone. Never to expect anything from anyone. Because the day you are expecting something from other one, you are not keeping the heritage of this country. Because whether it's a Vishwamitra, whether it's a Vasisht, whether it is a Yagyavalk or any Munis, they sacrifice their bones. They sacrifice their head. Even Ravan offered his head to his Guru, Lord Shiva. So this is the heritage. Have you seen in any culture, have you seen in any civilization that a king offered his head? We have so many stories. So these stories are missing in our syllabus. Nowadays, I am running a center where I am offering ethics and values-based tours. When I was designing the syllabus, I realized that whatever I taught to the students, maybe that was not very much relevant. That was to be taught to them. I'm sorry, there was some disturbances. Now, I realized that whatever I taught during my 40 years of life, somewhere I missed something. I am now realizing it. Why the tourists are coming to India? If you see, the tourists are coming to see the heritage of this country, at least 50%. One week back, I was in Meghalaya, Shillong, and from there I went to East Jaintia district. Their food habits, so insane and so pure from the core of their heart. Have we ever taught to our students? They know only Garo, Khasi, and Jainti. That's all. They know only Cherrapunji. That's all. But they never know what is their dresses, how do they cooperate to their friends, what are their values, how honest are they. And we are teaching them 6 modules in first semester, this module in second semester. And when we ask them to give a presentation on India's ethics and values, sometimes they say that this was not covered in their respective syllabus. Whereas my teacher, who taught me in Delhi while doing a postgraduate diploma, I said to him, sir, what do you teach to the students whenever he went to abroad as a visiting professor to address to students of UK and other countries? He simply replied that he taught there what Eastern countries donated to Western world and what Western world donated to Eastern world. What India has given to the West and what West has given to the East. I said to him, why? He said, listen, except Greece, no countries has the caliber to compete with this country of India. He is no more, but he proclaimed that India might be losing its identity because of population. But the scriptures written by saints and sages of Indian subcontinent are enough to say that the heritage of India is supreme among all. Therefore, the faculty members who are here and listening me, They would be going abroad. They may be getting time of 5 minutes, 6 minutes to speak, but they should have the command on this subject. Why India is known in the world for heritage. And they are expected to deliver the contents so systematically that they should not make a mockery. For example, I was delivering a lecture on Khajuraho in Rome. When the semester was over, they asked us to give a lecture on the topic of my interest. So my case was Khajuraho sculptures. So many students were telling that, is it Sura Sundari? What is this? Because I was just a young of 30 years, I could not reply properly. But when I analyzed this theory, why erotic figures are inside of the temple? Why erotic figures are inside of the temple? Why such figures are displayed in the by Raj Chol in the temple of Tanjore, that's called Brihdeshwar? Why all these things are there? Then it was explained to us, dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha are the 4 segments, are the 4 components of human life. One has to keep all these 4 components balanced. During that time, there was no literature. There was no communication method. Temple was the place where most of the people were assembling. Similarly, we say Ganga, Tera Pani Amrit. Ganga is a heritage. Ganga once descended from the heaven. Maybe it is wrong, maybe it is a false, but Ganga in itself is a heritage. The Himalayas, a meeting ground of nature and culture, is the source of inspirations to the poets, writers, scientists, many more. Our tigers, our Kaziranga is a heritage. Even when these dances, when we were there in Europe, the Chinese were mesmerized on seeing Bharatnatyam, Kathakali, Kuchipudi. They were mesmerized, such type of. Even the Aryabhat book, Brahmagupta contribution, Aryabhat, Brahmagupta contribution. Even the Puranas forecasting. Puranas say that it will happen after 100 years, it will happen after 100 years, it will happen after 100 years, it will happen after that. They forecasted. Even the birth of Isa Masih was forecasted by Indians. You open the Google, when Isa Masih was born, it was forecasted by Indian astrologers that Isa Masih is going to born in Bethlehem after so and so days. Then when on 25th December, when Christmas was organized, they asked me to play the role of astrologer. They offered me a big horse. I put me on his back and said that, Mr. Bagri, you are the astrologer for today's show. I told them, why, sir, you are telling me? They said that because India's born astrologer was the first person who forecasted the birth of Isa Masih. This is called heritage. When our children plan for marriage, the horoscopes, if matched, okay, go ahead. Is there any country where these values and traditions are maintained. So this type of things, when government of Bharatiya Janata Party realized, so they decided to make the students aware about the heritage. And there is a slogan, Heritage Walk. Go for Heritage Walk. Where to go Heritage Walk? So normally university and colleges are doing this job in shortest possible time. Taking the students, let us go to their temples, Heritage Walk. But no, this is not way. In Heritage Walk, there is a term, heritage interpretation. Heritage interpretation. Is there anyone in that group who can interpret the heritage? What is this? How it was made? Who made it? From which stone? How long it will be sustainable? Why it is made in this land? Chris Cooper was invited by Ministry of Tourism, and he came to Gwalior. And I was there. I was faculty member there. He described the way the heritage interpretation, and that heritage interpretation he centralized on a coin, on a Panchmark coin. And that Panchmark coin is of India's coin, made in 8th century BC. And then he said that what is this, why it was made, who made, when made, how it was used, what is its life, by what metal. The like of that, when the universities and colleges are being asked for heritage walk, they should be asked to make an interpretation. But who will make the interpretation? The interpretation will be made by those who have the command over the subject. I went to Mumbai for a visit, and the visit was scheduled at Narsee Monjee University. The moment I entered the university, you see, you'll be surprised to know that that university is only on 3 floors. The whole building is of 7 floors. First, second, third floor is Mithibai College. Okay. First, second, third is a Mithibai College. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh is a Narsee Monjee University. There is no regulation of UGC कि building इतनी लंबी चौड़ी होनी चाहिए. Nothing. But they see at the entrance there were groups of students were sitting. They thought that I'm also the guardian of a student, and they asked me, sir, ask your ward to join our eco club. Another students told me, sir, told your ward to join our heritage club. Then I said deliberately, what do you mean by this heritage club, and what are your aims and objectives? They said that we organize lectures of eminent scholars on Indian dance, music. We take our students to Victoria Fort, to Elephanta, to Ajanta. We take them around the places where the folk traditions, where the gastronomy and many, many things are there. I said them, why do you take all these students? They can get exposure. If you are a faculty member, can you do these things? And you will miss it once you retire. That you have only written books, you have only written research paper for increasing your citation. But I tell you, that some of the faculty are very brilliant, and they don't have the paper, they don't have the citation, but they have very creative mind. So, and if you have a creative mind, if you can do these wonders, if you can set up some cultural clubs and invite the persons, request for donation, get some money, distribute some fruits, beverages among the participants, you will be awarded Padma Shri. If you are 40 years, by the time you cross 60 years, and if you do this exercise, you are fit for the Padma Shri. But what we do, we write books, we write research papers. How many of scholars read your research papers? How many people are reading your books? I think that the culture of book is no more. Everything, the book is in your mobile, the research paper are in your mobile. There is no need to go to our library. Everything is with you. But mind it, a cultural club cannot be set up in this mobile. An excursion cannot be conducted in this mobile. A donation cannot be arranged in this mobile. Okay, you have to take the students, not only students, the family members of a staff, the school children of 9th and 10th class, and take them to some place. Request some professionals, some businessmen to donate some money. Don't forget, Madan Mohan Malviya even begged for 1 rupees. If someone give you 10 rupees, accept it. And take the students and then write the stories. And if this practice goes on and you have, then you will be the spokesperson, you will be the reference group of this region, of this country. With these words, I thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I could have elaborated much more, but I have some appointment at next after half an hour. I have to rush back to that place. Goodbye. Thank you very much, Dr. Himanshu and other members of this group, my students, Dr. Pankaj, and I look forward to meet you again sometime in some other occasion, in some other programs. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
I wholeheartedly thanking you, sir, for your magnificent speech. Your words spoken will remain in our mind, sir, as well as the words, your words will be words of great wisdom for us. Sir, thank you for sharing your vast experience and with our participants attending this faculty development program. Thank you very much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and sharing your vast experience with us. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, once Mahatma Gandhi said that a nation's culture resides in the heart and soul of its people. While inaugurating the new headquarters of Archaeological Survey of India, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi said that until we feel proud of our heritage, we will not be able to preserve it. During this 1 week faculty development program organized by Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management on protection and management of Indian heritage, key aspects and challenges. Since the beginning, many eminent speakers, starting from the inaugural session addressed by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K.R.S. Sambasiva Rao sir, keynote speaker, Professor Soumendra Mohan Patnaik, guest of honor, Shri Vinod Jutsi, former Secretary Minister of Tourism, Government of India, and the different session speakers we have attended. All persons shared the deep insights about various aspects of heritage management, its preservation, conservation, and challenges issues. As concluded by every resource persons, the duty of conserving our heritage lies on our shoulder. Our responsibility to contribute towards preservation of our culture and heritage as it's part of our identity, our past, and our glorious history. Moving forward, I would like to request the head of the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, and coordinator of this 1 week faculty development program, Dr. Himanshu Bhushan Rao, for presenting the summary report of this faculty development program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Dear participants, as you know, this is the last session of our AICTE Atal FDP. It is our responsibility to sum up with the summary report of this AICTE Atal FDP. The Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, organized a 1 week faculty development program on protection and management of Indian heritage assets, key aspects and challenges, from 8th to 12th November 2021, sponsored by AICTE Training and Learning Order. The specific themes of this event were overview of heritage concept and challenges in global context, corporate social responsibility, preservation and promotion of Indian heritage, heritage tourism branding the intangibles, heritage of rural India, a tool for sustainable development. How can museum contribute in representation and revitalization of tribal heritage, reflections of new museum movements in India, heritage management, HR issues and challenges, community participation in the conservation of natural heritage, culture and regional development of heritage tourism in changing world with reference to Garhwal region of India, economic perspectives of cultural heritage, heritage and society, dying festivals of rural India, ethical and moral aspects of heritage conservation, and lastly, the session was crafting tourism strategies at times of global crisis, a case study of Greece. Altogether, 100 participants registered for this online FDP from different states and union territories of India, but we found 115 to 120 participants have participated in this program very seriously. The participants comprised mainly faculty members, research scholars, and PG students with tourism and hospitality and business management background. The program comprised 14 sessions, with each session being presided over by the same number of eminent speakers from different prestigious institutions of the country. In the welcome speech during the inaugural ceremony, Dr. Himanshu Bhushan Raut, myself, the coordinator, Hotel FDP, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, highlighted the significance of the event and noted that heritage tourism has the potential to become a huge business, not only in India, but the world over. He also highlighted how inadequate preservation and management of Indian heritage assets can pose serious threats to heritage tourism. However, he was optimistic that the FDP will certainly deliberate on these issues and will direct towards finding solutions of these challenges. Dear participants, on the inaugural function, Professor K.R.S. Sambhajiva Rao, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, participated as chief guest. In his chief guest address, he emphasized the role of tourism in the socio-economic upliftment of a region. He also requested the different stakeholders of tourism industry in the state of Mizoram to come forward and contribute to the tourism development of the region. Mr. Vinod Joshi, retired IAS, former Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, had participated as guest of honor. In his speech, he spoke about the profuse challenges in the preservation and management of Indian heritage assets and also underlined the strategies to overcome them. In his keynote address, Professor Somendra Mohan Patnaik, professor at the Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi, and the former Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, Odisha, spoke about the need for innovative transformation in the heritage tourism in order to protect, preserve, and manage Indian heritage assets. While addressing the participants, Professor R.K. Nurtin Kumar, Revere Dean, School of Economics, Management and Information Science, Mizoram University, talked about rich heritage of India and stressed upon the need for promoting heritage tourism. At the end, Dr. Rajdeep Dev, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, thanked all the dignitaries for their kind presence during the opening ceremony, which was immediately followed by the first technical session. Now I will share the outcomes of all technical sessions. Session 1 was an overview of heritage concept and challenges in global context. Resource person was Dr. Neel Kamal Champion, Director, Center for Heritage Management, Ahmedabad University, Gujarat. In his speech, the speaker focused upon various concerns, challenges, and responsibilities related to heritage assets. He called for management of heritage assets and at the same time advocated for its promotion with the help of regional collaboration. In session 2, Heritage and Society, resource person was Professor R.K. Mohanty, Department of Sociology, Mizoram University. The speaker focused on the linkage between society and heritage. He drew attention to the fact that heritage should not be restricted to monuments only. He forwarded the terminology of society and heritage with justification, along with management and potentiality of heritage. He supported the idea heritage beyond monument. Also, Professor Mohanty connected lived past and living present to our heritage and culture. During session 3 or third session, heritage tourism, branding the intangibles, resource person was Professor Vivraj Bhushan Parida, Department of Tourism Management, the University of Bardhaman, West Bengal. The speaker talked about the heritage tourism branding. He asserted that culture is a fundamental part of tourism experience and also elaborated how intimate connection between culture and tourism areas, the branding exercise. During fourth session, the session title was Heritage of Rural India, a tool for sustainable development. Resource person was Professor Sampath Kumar Swai, Department of Tourism Studies, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry. The speaker talked about the uniqueness of India in terms of culture and heritage and the rich arts and crafts possessed by each state. He asserted that protection, encouragement, and motivation of artisans is necessary to keep the heritage alive in rural India. During fifth session, how can museum contribute in representation and revitalization of tribal heritage? Reflections of new museum movements in India. Resource person was Professor Sarit Kumar Chaudhary, Department of Anthropology, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh. The speaker highlighted the role of museums in promoting cultural and heritage tourism in India. He also talked about the need for hand-holding and mentoring to the local community to enable them to keep their heritage alive. During session 6, Heritage Management, HR Issues and Challenges, resource person Professor Y. Venkat Rao, Department of Tourism Studies, Pondicherry University. In his speech, he pointed out current status of heritage assets, issues and conservation and marketing, and issues regarding outreach and promotion of heritage assets in India. He advocated the need for skill development by involving institutions in heritage management across India. He also suggested that international collaboration may prove to be effective in proper promotion and management of heritage sites. During session 7, community participation in the conservation of natural heritage, resource person, very eminent Professor Ruchi Badola Madam, Scientist G, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, emphasized on safeguarding the natural heritage assets of India and said that the most sustainable way of doing it is by community participation. During session 8, Culture and Regional Development, resource person was Professor Lavkush Mishra, Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Agra. The speaker in his speech displayed concerns about the fact that Agra, being a heritage tourism destination, is unable to make tourists to stay overnight. He also called for fact finding to find why and how to overcome the various challenges in this area. During 9th session, Heritage Tourism in Changing World, with reference to Garhwal region of India, resource person was Professor S.K. Gupta, Center for Mountain Tourism and Hospitality Studies, HNB Garhwal University, Uttarakhand. The speaker focused upon the need for paradigm shift in tourism and the need for shifting to heritage from cultural tourism. He also said that the local community is the actual custodian of the heritage and the government should work in them with the tourism stakeholders for sustainability. Session 10, Economic Perspective of Cultural Heritage. Resource person was Professor P.K. Mishra, Department of Economic Studies, Central University of Punjab, Bhatinda. The speaker spoke about rendering new identity to our cultural heritage and also branding the place which are culturally significant. The aim is to make India world guru, and it would be justified only if we focus on cultural heritage. We discussed at length about the economic gains that can be occurred from leveraging cultural heritage and also suggested various strategies and economic discussions to be taken for that. During 11th session, corporate social responsibility, preservation and promotion of Indian heritage. Resource person was Professor G. Anjaney Swami, Central University of Andhra Pradesh and former Dean School of Management, Pondicherry University. The speaker started the session by referring corporate social responsibility as a voluntarity named corporate philanthropy. He argued that CSR is a two-way relationship between the society and business and focused upon the challenges in relation to preservation of heritage. In his address, he advocated inclusion of heritage management, the curriculum of education. It should be incorporated in the curriculum of education. He suggested that everyone should be concerned about preservation of the heritage and thereby future generation. 12th session was on dying festivals of rural India. Resource person was Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra, Department of Tourism Management, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. The speaker talked about how festivals are gradually losing their significance to the society and community. In his speech, he mainly focused upon Odisha and highlighted how, due to certain undefined regions, many festivals have only symbolic existence today. 13th session was on ethical and moral aspects of heritage conservation. Resource person was Professor Sitikant Mishra, former director, IITTM, Government of India. The speaker referred to ethics and moral as the subject of which discussion in contemporary society. He spoke about how ethics, values, and valuing processes are threaded through the various spheres of conservation and how they play an enormous role in our endeavor to integrate the field. During 14th session or the last technical session of our FDP, crafting tourism strategies at times of global crisis, a case study of Greece. Resource person was Dr. Ioannis Polis, Center for Heritage Management, Ahmedabad University. The speaker spoke about the strategies adopted by Greece to preserve and manage their heritage assets at the time of crisis. Last but not the least, during the valedictory session, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Jagdish Kumar Patnaik may have given very short and crisp message to us, and it was very motivating as well. It was a very short message to work in our fields. And I may say the person, guest of honor, as well as the keynote speaker of valedictory session, Professor S.C. Bagri, is not only a man of institution, or I may say he is the father of tourism in India. I am a very small person to conclude his speech. His speech was based on the whole concept of heritage, and very uniquely, very resourcefully, he has shared his lively experiences about the value of the life, about the ethical sense of Indian people in comparison to the foreigners, how the Indian people are culturally rich in comparison to other people in different countries. So during the discussions, participants penetrated into different emerging tourism and hospitality areas of research interest, which may be taken into consideration while organizing faculty development program, workshops, seminars in future. On behalf of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, on behalf of the coordinator of this faculty development program, last but not the least, this program is only and only successful due to the hardworking, sincere, and very much, I can tell, very interesting participants from different corners of the country. Only due to them, this program has become successful. I may say we are just working as a bridge between AICT to the academicians, researchers, PG scholars. But I may say only due to the active participation from all respected participants from different parts of our country. This program became very, very successful. And with this, I make thanks to all. And if there is something to discuss, definitely I will request Dr. Pankaj, we should welcome our respected participants to listen from them. At least 4 or 5 participants must share their feedback about the program. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your summary presented. This summary gave us a recap of all that sessions we learned during this week-long faculty development program sponsored by AICTE Atal. Sir, in the beginning, Professor Bagri sir asked you that how successful this program was, or how successful this program is. You said that, sir, this we are just a kind of, we are just a platform where we have tried our best to provide the best speakers, the best eminent professors from the country, and we have tried our best. Our resource persons has shared their vast experience with us. But the real meaning of, or the real success of this faculty development program can be understood only by the, only from the responses of our respondents. So I would like to request our participants, respected participants, to share their experience. So moving towards that, first I would like to ask, as I have received the name from Sri Nilesh Misra, so I would like to request Sri Nilesh Misra to share his experience about this faculty development program. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Himanshu, and all the people who are being involved from the Mizoram University. In fact, I'll thank first to Dr. Rajdeep sir. I wrote an email to him when I saw about this particular program, and he responded me that if this is for tourism, but definitely you can apply. And luckily I got selected. I was able to hear many people about the heritage and was able to know what exactly heritage means toward tourism. I'm a civil engineer, but definitely I'm also been involved with the Mizoram in a different way. Like Aizawl, it comes in zone 4 of an earthquake. So some people were doing some other type of analysis of the structure. And I wanted to connect it to that particular place. So this particular program was definitely a useful program. And I'm also looking forward to visit sometimes to that Mizoram University. And the kind of speaker which were there in this particular platform were definitely very good. I have not seen so many good speaker in any of those FDP. I have attended many FDPs, and this is one of the FDP where I have seen many of the faculty who had a very good experience, and they were able to give a very good knowledge about the tourism and other aspect of a heritage. So I thank all the people from the Mizoram University, and also I look forward for such type of interaction in future. I like to visit a Mizoram University sometimes, and also like to see if I can able to help you in any other way. I used to give the presentation, so what I'll do is I'll include one PPT, one slide in the end of a PPT for a tourism from the Mizoram to visit the place in Mizoram as a tourist and see what exactly is there. In fact, I have seen 2 or 3 faculty from your department. They were being wearing the traditional dress, the Mizoram dress. That was something very good actually. So, and thanks for allowing me to speak, and also to allow me to attend this program. I'm very thankful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You are most welcome to Mizoram University.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So now I would like to request some more participants. Kindly share your experience.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
May I, sir, if I am permitted to speak?
Yes, sure, sir. Yes, madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At the outset, let me thank the Department of Mizoram University for giving us a golden opportunity to participate in this FDP. And a special thanks goes to Himanshu sir. And most of the people are known to us. Rajesh is from Pondicherry University. Milo is there. and all the resource persons, many of the resource persons are known to us, and it a lot of takeaways on heritage management. As my first subject, I have done my degree in history, master's in history. So this particular FDP, which was a blend of tourism and heritage and history and management. So lot of takeaways for all the participants, and a lot of learning experience, a lot of new thoughts, especially morning session, especially on Greece, was very much informative. Sitikan Sar's class, Sampath Sar's class, especially Madam from Wildlife Institute of India, and Swami Sar, Venkat Rao Sar from different heritage institutes. So there were a lot of takeaways, and especially as we teachers, we were so busy with our academic activities, so we could take 5 days of our time, and especially got involved with this FDP, and which will really reflect in the classroom when we go back, and we can even share our experience of what we have taken from this FDP. Thank you so much, Mr. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I guess any more participants?
Bhumi wants to say.
Yes.
Madam.
Okay, Bhumi, please continue. Please give your feedback.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I just wanted to thank everybody, thank my faculties, and even especially our HOD, sir, for this organizing this FDP. Cultural tourism and heritage tourism is, I'm very keen on this subject. So I got to learn a lot, whether it was related to how heritage, it basically living heritage is, community involvement is, community involvement in living heritage is, they go hand by hand, and how a brand is created. The last session, the Greece session, was very good because I'm very interested in marketing and creating a brand for tourism. So the economic aspect of heritage was discussed, which is very important because in the end, tourism is an industry, and we want this industry to help our country in every way. So thank you so much, all the resource person. They were wonderful. They shared all their knowledge, and I believe, like me, everybody has gained a lot from this FDP in these 5 days. I hope such programs will be conducted in future as well, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, all my faculties and HOD, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Bhumi. Yes, Bhumi is research scholar in this department. Mr. Rasmi Ranjan Chaudhary. Sir, if possible, can you mute your audio? Mr. Rasmi Ranjan Chaudhary. Sir, do you want to share your experience? Okay, thank you.
If you want to share your experience, please unmute.
Sir, if you want to share your experience, please unmute. Please unmute.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Very congratulations to Himanshu sir and his team. I'm very much thankful to you, and you have given me opportunity. I'm a research scholar of Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, and it's for me it's very much a learning experience for me, and I hope for all the participants in this FTP. And I'm very much sure that all the participants have marked this FTP as a 5+ in their feedback. Then because this FTP is very fruitful at this professors, all the professors are and thankful to the Mizoram University and this whole department. Then that much I will say from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rasmi Ranjan. I remember you are the last applicant for this FDP. At the last time or last minute, I remembered you had sent the mail during night, and on the first day of our FDP, early morning, I have approved your participation.
Yeah, I'm grateful to you, sir. Grateful to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you. Now moving forward, dear participants, everyone, I guess most of you have already appeared for your examination. So because of time constraint, if we have one vote of thanks left for this session. So everyone, now I also request the participants kindly log in your AICTE Atal ID and fill the feedback. Without filling those feedback, you will not be able to receive certificate. As you have already been informed by the department that we don't have any connection regarding the certificate. It is AICTE Atal who is going to provide you certificate on the basis of your performance in attendance and in examination. Even after the appearing in examination, you must submit your feedback, then only you will be able to receive your certificate at that portal only. We are not going to provide you certificates. So you please continuously visit AICTE portal, log in your account, and you can check whether your certificate is published, available or not. If you then also, if you are feeling any problem, you are welcome to contact us. So thank you. Now moving towards the end of this program, I would like to request head of the department and coordinator of this faculty development program, Dr. Himanshu Bhushan Raut, who has made this, who is the the main pillar of our department and continue working very, he is a great leader for our department. We all are trying to do our best to make this department successful. We the responses in this faculty development program, as well as the regular programs we are offering, the participants or the students from different parts of the country, even from foreign countries also. Last time we received some application form for our PhD program, for admission in PhD program. So thank you, Dr. Himanshu sir, for organizing this successful, in our view, it is a very successful faculty development program. So now I would like to request our HOD, Dr. Himanshu Bhushan Raut, to give the vote of thanks and conclude this program.
Thank you,
sponsored by
Dr.
AICTE Atal.
Thank you very much. Just you have told me you are the main pillar. I am not at all any pillar. I am just as the same crew member in the same ship. So this program, I may say it is only and only possible due to the active participation of our respected participants from different parts of our country. I don't want to take much more time because it is already 4:23. So I will conclude within 2 minutes. Respected participants, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Rajdeep, Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Lalro Sangha, Dr. Hemant, and Dr. Milo. These are the names of my team, those who have worked hard and hardest to their part to make this program successful. And I will not exclude even my office staffs, Madam Sente and Madam Juliet, those who are my office staff in my department. They also have worked hard during this AICTE Atal FDP, even if before this program they have worked hard. So definitely I will also thank to all my crew members in this department. As well, I will thank to the higher authorities. Personally, I will thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Sambasiva Rao sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Mizoram University. I will thank to our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Jagdish Kumar Patnaik for cooperating, and also I will thank to the Finance Officer, Registrar, and other dignitaries of my university. As well, I will thank to all eminent, resourceful technical session speakers. Without their acceptance as the speaker to our AICTE Atal FDP, this program would not have touched its height. And lastly, I will thank to the eminent participants, sincere participants, to make this program successful. But very casually, I want to say our Dr. Pankaj is very sincere professor here. So he must have told you there is no role of certification of our department. Yes, that is true. But again, I want to make you relax. If you have attended more than 80% class, and if you have scored more than 60%, definitely you are going to get your certificate. Okay. And I may tell you, we cannot touch to the attendance report because it is already taken and it is already reviewed by the reviewer from AICT. But yes, I may relax you if you are having some mistakes during examination. So we are going to check it, and if it will be at par 60%, then also we may motivate you to get certificate. Definitely will ask to AICT to provide you certificate. But the feedback of AICT, the feedback for this AICT Atal FDP, it is purely the affair of AICT portal. There is no interference of the department. That's why I will request all the participants, without feedback, they will not release your certificate. Please remember, you may forget. If you will not do it tonight, you may forget. Do it tonight and finish the program, and definitely we will be in touch. Your all email IDs, informations will be stored in our department, and in future for any such academic activities or programs, we will again intimate you. And definitely for future also, I welcome you all to the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University. And we will try our best to give you, to organize such events with all eminent personalities, and we'll try to rectify any shortfall during this program in future activities. Thank you all once again. Good night.